I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
A lot of people look at us as robots or just out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. To let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
Compassion, generosity, love, all of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
What's up, boss?
Man, this is awesome. You kind of threw me off a little bit, man. I don't know what to talk about now. Shit, dude. Yes, I did shave. No shave November is complete. I figure all the work is done. I did my donations to the St. Jude. The final look. Oh man, I got that freaking bright ass freaking glare in this dark room here. Yeah, so no shave November post mission brief. I dropped the chips, and there you go. And of course, tonight's beverage is of course by some of my favorite coffees here. A Stocky Milk coffee. Look at that. Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal.
Caramel blend for the holidays. Zip Zap. They even made, look at that, a Zip Zap t-shirt, man. Become ungovernable. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I like this shirt, man. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why I like this shirt. There has to be some sort of connection to it, but, Zip Zap, But it's, yeah, I told him I would. I bought some bags of coffee from them. I bought these big old 5-pound bags, So, yeah, big ones. It's like, yeah, big bags. At any rate, welcome to the Monday edition, of course. And, yeah, so how was your weekend, man?
It was cold. It was fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah, dude. Speaking of cold, let me look at the temps for all of our locales that we have in the WTF Nation. Let's see. Columbia, South Carolina, that's 66 degrees. Washington's 56. Memphis 39. New York 58. Fresno 48. Let's see. Overland Park 30 degrees. Vietnam 66. And then, let's see, Colorado Springs, 22 degrees. Aurora, 31 degrees. So, how cold you get?
It was 8 this morning, single
Holy
8.
Crap.
Christopher Measles said it's 7 degrees there.
Oh.
Where's that at? Where are you at?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Montana. Oof. Damn, dude. Oh. Oof. Yeah, man, that's. I don't.
But you know what? I don't know about where you're at, but here is supposed to be back up by in the 70s by Friday. So, I mean, it is December. So
yeah, in the mountain bunker, it's been in the 12s. It's been like the 12 between the 12s and the 21s, and 19 in Michigan. Woo, man! 2 masters from the U2 chats. There you go, man. God, yeah. So this weekend, I got to. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So what did you do this weekend?
We had a soccer tournament.
Oh, okay.
It started indoor soccer. We went to Sioux Falls, which is about 6 hours from us, and my kid crushed it. They won first place in their age division, and then we drove home. So yeah, I got a fancy medal and a fancy T-shirt. And we drove home.
That's what I'm talking about. Way to go, man. Good job, your little one. So this weekend, I was invited by a reserve PSYOP company to participate in LPDs and stuff like. So yeah, so the WTF Nation's running around your units, U.S. Army Reserve, and spreading the gospel. Okay, look, I'll be honest with you. It was a great trip. Hanging out with the I attended drill for those of you that are in the reserve community. I drilled with the troops.
How was that? Because you've never spent any time with like National Guard or reserves, have you?
I have actually. I've spent some time with the National Guard before I went active duty, and I do have some friends within the PSYOP regiment, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come out to drill? You want to come visit and shoot the breeze?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I could do that. I guess. I mean, that's no big deal. I mean, let's hang out." And they invited me to an LPD, so I got to speak to some of the troops, got to speak to the unit ministry team. Hang on, I'm gonna post them. They even invited me to the change of command right there. Hang on, let me post a little. So shout out to the Black Knights. Every time I think about the Black Knights, I think of Harry Connick Jr. when he imitates Jesse Jackson. Wasn't it on Independence Day where he's like, "The Black Knights will remain victorious." But anyway, so I was invited to the chain of command, and then I did. They had an awesome spread. They had tacos, man, can't beat that. All units should do that. So hung out with the Black Knights and did an LPD Q&A with the troops and ate chow with the troops and all that stuff. So it was pretty fun. And I will say that drilling with the troops was different because they're a reserve community, So it's like not. I came in with the expectations of it's not an active duty unit like I normally hang out with, Beckett Bragg or hanging out with some other units. So there were some expectations of it, and we talked a lot about COVID. We talked about China. We talked about Ukraine. We talked about the future of the PSYOP regiment and what holds for the reserve community. And then a friend of mine who was the commander there changed commands, and that was pretty cool. Now Scott says now build the reserve. There was that joke. I did make a joke saying, "Hey, look, so do I get credit for this? Do I get some sort of RST time, was what they call it, and do I get to get some reserve pay or something like that?" But
you should. I feel like you should.
Yeah, I know.
But hold on a second, because I don't know. I know the National Guard, they pay you like 2 days for each day you're there, right? So if you put in if you were there for the whole weekend, let's say that you were there for the MUTA 4 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's probably less money than you're actually making in your retirement, so you may not want to say a whole lot anyway.
You just like not even do it. See, the thing is,
I wouldn't even put in the paperwork. You're just gonna maybe like travel vouchers.
No, yeah, exactly that, Scott. A lot of retired individuals go out and have they'll have like speaking fees and stuff like that, and I don't really. You know what I mean? I don't really do the speaking fee stuff. I mean, I have had some other influencers and some other military leaders that speak at engagements. I guess my next engagement is going to be with some cadets, university cadets, because they're huge WTF Nation fans and WTF Nation radio fans.
That warms my icy little radar heart.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, they as a matter of fact, they love it. Just get an LOD. They love the fact that the WTF Nation is the WTF Nation. It's kind of like come full circle. You know what I mean? It's almost been like the younger generation Joe E4s were the big fans, and the leaders didn't appreciate it. Doesn't appreciate whatever the WTF Nation. I mean, with the exception of now. Right. And then now it's in the cadet community, in the ROTC community. That's where you're starting to see the followership. So I got some questions from a couple. There's one cadet that was drilling with them, and I was kind of making fun of him because he went from like specialist to cadet, and he's going to law school, and so it was pretty cool because then I said, hey, you're actually going from being a barracks lawyer to a real lawyer. You know what I mean? So they're great troops. They were pretty pumped, energetic. They did, like I said, they had a lot of questions. It was kind of funny because the way I introduced myself is I was kind of like, I don't want to say like I was an old boring, guest speaker that, most units have. But I did introduce myself like an old boring guest speaker. Hey, I'm retired, blah, blah, blah. Just start talking about, PSYOP stuff and start talking about some other things. And they're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I only had like, 30, 45 minutes with them. And then the next thing you know, it was just their eyes lit up when one of them asked me, so what do you do now? Do you just go out and speak? And I go, funny you should mention that. I'm one of the admins on U.S. Army WTF Moments, and their eyes was like, what? What? And then the next thing you know, they were asking all questions about, just name your anything about the WTF Nation and WTF Nation Radio. So again, shout out to 324 Psychological Operations Company, the Black Knights. You guys were they were so hospitable. It was, got to talk to everybody, and it was great. Appreciate First Sergeant for, putting up with me there.
So I know, like, well, there's like the local National Guard units here, and there's a reserve unit not too far away and stuff. Like, I know a lot of those guys are prior active duty or have spent time on active duty at some.
Correct.
Is that the same kind of?
Correct.
With
yeah.
The PSYOPs community.
Yeah, the PSYOP community. Yep, exactly that. And what they'll do is they'll get out. And as a matter of fact, we did talk, recruitment. So, Special Operations Recruiting Battalion, you need to go ahead and kick me some swag, and I'll be more than happy to wear it on air. But yeah, they were pretty
Because I know,
cool.
like, some of those MOSs, like, okay, like the guys who are like 88 mics and shit, right? They go to like basic and AIT, then they're like an 88 mic and like the guard or reserves, and you don't really need a whole lot of training for that, right? And so I know, like, because they still have to do their SRPs, they still got to do like all their medical stuff, they still have to stay up to date on all their shit, right? It's not just they go in for 2 weeks and they're 2 week AIT or whatever they call it in the summertime, and then they're every weekend. They still have to do all their other training as well. So
you're right.
They're pretty busy. So they don't get a lot. I mean, so PSYOPs. I'm not PSYOPs. I'm not. But I imagine it's a little bit more labor intensive than, say, I don't know, 88 mic. A lot more training goes into that, and
Correct.
Real world, like, and it evolves so fast, where you can't just be like, 88 mics. If you're an 88 mic, sorry about it. You're gonna get a better job than most of us when you get out. But I mean, them in infantry, like, okay, it's this. Maybe you do some tactics, you do some drills, maybe get some new equipment, whatever. But for the most part, you get it or you don't, right? Something like PSYOPs or IT stuff or all these different things, you really got to stay on top of the leading edges of technology for that. So I would imagine it'd be hard as a reservist or
a lot of it. That's what funny you mentioned that too, because some of them that I was talking to, I mean, some of them worked in public health, some of them worked in government contracting, some of them police officers, some of them were, some of them actually worked in network solutions and stuff like that as their side gig, as their full-time job. So a lot of it is like, it was kind of cool to sit down and like I said, I was talking to a law student. I was talking to somebody who was working on their doctorate and master's, in human health. I mean, so I wasn't talking to, we weren't talking to just anybody who doesn't just do anything. They were really, they were just asking some really good questions about, future of how PSYOP is going to work or how the regiment works and all that. And the reserve community guys, they work with a lot of the conventional forces. And so they're doing NTC rotations. They're doing missions to Africa. They're doing other missions to other countries and stuff like that. So you're right. They're really busy. A lot of the things that I got the most was the guidance from COVID, which was they were really smart up on it. And they know exactly who Morgan was. They knew who Morgan from the J1 is. They know who our J1 is. So. One of them would say, yeah, what about this? What about that? And another kid would chime in and say, oh, well, if you look at Morgan, follow her on Twitter. And that's another thing too. They saw our Army leaders on social media. There is no, there was nobody being hidden from it. They were like, yeah, I follow this person and I follow that person, and it's kind of cool to see senior leaders to engage in all that, because then it gives them almost like that we all go to the bathroom the same mentality. You know what I mean? It's kind of like so. But yeah,
well, and I think they see that, especially as younger troops. I think it's important that they see that they're. One, I think it's important that they see that the Army leadership actually does give a shit about them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But two, like you said, just to show that, okay, the sergeant major of the Army puts a uniform on the same way that PFC radar does or whatever.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of which, they had some questions about how many times do we work with senior leaders, and I do say we work with them. I was comfortable to say, yeah, we work with them a lot. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we weren't bullshit when there were some senior leaders that we worked with. The PAO, I don't even know that the PAO was there. I didn't see any PAOs or anything like that. So, I'm thinking, oh, okay. They were pretty quiet, unless they were in the unless they were in the audience and I didn't know about it. Some of the PA people, but yeah, really, it was really, like I said, hospitable. Company leadership, battalion leadership were really, they were cool about it. They were asking how, just other things about WTF moments, other stuff about working with the unit. When we had the LPD, I told them, hey, look, this is like the WTF Nation inbox. So you can ask me any question you want, and it's not going to come out. It's not going to be blurted out. So that's why I'm keeping to my promise, to the soldiers there. But they were really, like I said, they were really pumped. It was pretty cool to kind of like see them not be, you think. Again, reserves and National Guard, they have that stigma of, oh no, they don't want to do stuff, they don't want to train. No, these guys were pretty motivated. They wanted to train. They wanted to learn. They were big sponges, and so it was just awesome to see, all the questions being asked, and then all the guidance about all the COOF stuff, and it was just, I don't know, I just like provided. I don't know, it's pretty easy. I don't know, maybe it just flows right. I like hanging out with the troops anyway, so maybe it was, I don't know. I felt
the troops are fun, though.
Yeah, dude.
And Baby Radar gets to come home. Private Radar gets to come home over Christmas, so that's cool. I haven't seen him for the whole time, but he's been letting me in on some of the stuff, man. I don't understand these units.
Does he have some WTF moments he'd like to share with Uncle Ice?
I'm not gonna. I don't know if anyone. He hasn't said that anyone knows who he is for sure, but. If you're running a unit overseas and you have just about everyone put in for Christmas leave, right, for your block leave, you can't approve 19 people to go. You know what I mean? Like, right. Allegedly there's only 19 leave packets approved out of this company of 200 guys, whatever's in that type of company. Like, you gotta let your guys go home for Christmas, man.
Yeah.
You gotta.
No,
some of them guys have been locked up for they've been there for almost 2 years and not been able to go on leave with the COOF stuff. You got to let them go, man, for a bit. Sorry about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, especially if you're an overseas unit, you got to get your guys some time off, and they're going from one thing to another. Their op tempo is actually really high with all the things they're allowed to do, operations wise. But as far as R&R stuff goes, you got to give your guys a break. And that's all I'm going to say on that, on air anyway.
What's funny is that I had let me see, what did I see? I had several messages about some leave, and one kid he didn't want to go and all this other stuff. I mean, I totally understand that, and he said it was okay that I could talk about it, but he said that he's like, what did you do when you if you didn't go home on leave? I said, bro, what did I do? I charged for staff duty. I was like, what's the going rate? What's the going bid? I mean, I charged $250 when I was a little, speedy ice, and so I didn't, I don't know what the going rate is now, but I would probably say that it was probably like a higher, whatever the highest bidder is, for staff duty. But that's what I did. I chilled. I mean, okay, yeah, $250. You can pull my duty. I sure will. Yeah, really? Yeah. Go ahead. Well, but you got to be, you got to give me of course, how many did you go?
Right.
How many years did y'all serve, and in what years? well, combined right now, I think me and Radar have 50 some odd years together. No, just kidding.
Well, I had 14 before they retired me.
Right.
So, I mean, that's not as much as some in our conversation, but a whole lot more than others.
Almost 29 years, man. 1989, and then 2018. But so yeah.
I mean, but you know, and I don't know. I talk some shit sometimes, and I know that I said I didn't do as many as some, but I did more than others. And you look at some of these guys, and you know, like Scott said, some leaders listening to radio talking about how they need to give their guys leave, and thinking, do I really? Yeah, you do, man. Like you have to give your guy, even if you don't let everyone go on leave all the time. I get that. You have to have people. You got to have your staff duties there. You got to have, and okay, my son, private radar station in Europe right now, and there is some kind of saber rattling going on in Europe. I understand how you don't want to have everybody gone all the time.
Right. Ivan's pulling some shit in Ukraine.
Yep. And so you don't want to have, you don't want to drop down to 20% manning or whatever. I get that, 100%. But when you've got guys who have literally been there since before the coup started, and you haven't let them go on leave the whole time, you gotta let them go, man. Even if you do local leave or some shit like that, or fucking something, you gotta approve leave packets. You gotta give them some time off. You can't just be like, well, I mean, I give you Thanksgiving off. Come on, man. Like, come on, dude. You don't be a dick, And okay. Another thing too, if it's the Saturday of Thanksgiving, you don't have your fucking guys going out, piling up fucking pallets of sandbags for no fucking reason.
Oh man, dude. I'll be honest with you. I think
some shit. I wish I'd have got some fucking pictures of that with some time and date stamps on that. That shit would have been on.
We need to abolish staff duty. Cancel staff duty. Staff duty needs to be canceled right now. With the way of technology working and how you can communicate with people, I think staff duty needs to be cut right now. With the amount of systems to go double check on an arms room that already has a system already to double check, then that's it. We should cancel staff duty. There should be no CQ, no staff duty, and that's it. There you go.
I understand like a little bit of the Firewatch stuff, or like something like go check the motor pools every fucking day, some shit like that. I get that, and you should have some sort of manning at the battalion or something like that. But you don't need fucking 3 guys sitting at a desk in every company office
at every echelon. So in other words, you'll have somebody at the platoon, the company, because you didn't have CQ in the barracks, right? So you have to have somebody in the platoon, you had somebody in the company, and then somebody in the battalion, somebody in the brigade, somebody in the division, all manning phones.
Yep.
Cancel staff
or
duty.
You know what they should do? God, this is Sergeant's time stuff, but I'm gonna
go ahead, man. Go for it.
You know what? Honestly, when them senior leaders, when that staff sergeant or sergeant first class or first sergeant or something starts putting that shit on their NCOERs, fucking make that shit negative. Don't give them points for that. Don't give them extra fucking kudos for like, I made my guys do all kinds of dumb shit. No, fuck that. No. I'm an asshole. Don't fucking quit promoting assholes. That's
oh my
the
God.
other thing too. Sometimes like they're just like this. You see these fucks and they're just like, and like in the comments, I was supposed to do 20 but turned into 3 because of toxic leadership. Abso-fucking-lutely. I bet there's a whole bunch of stories just like that, Richard. 100%.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
There's guys who fucking come in motivated as fuck, and they're like, yeah, I want to fucking make down to 20 years. I want to do all kinds of cool shit. And then like it's like, but hey, I know it's a Friday, 1500. You guys are bored.
But
let's go fill some sandbags.
Yeah.
No, fucking send your Joes home. Let them get a haircut. Let them fucking go play Xbox or some shit. Like, let the boys go. Let the girls go. Let them go. Because they're soldiers. Yeah, they're privates or specialists, whatever. They're also fucking 20-something-year-old kids, right? Let them be a kid upon occasion. You don't gotta let them go do whatever the fuck they want to do, because privates do dumb shit. But you also gotta like not work in fucking 18 hours a day. Like there's a method to this madness. There's a balance there. And forward staff duty line is someone's cell phone. Absolutely.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I pulled some staff duty like that before, where you just have to call and that's it. It really isn't a big deal. If any leader could tell me that justify why they need to have staff duty and have a good one, then then I could see that. But I've yet seen anything that's not happened or happened. I think what it is that so we have.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if you have to have all of your troops monitored 24/7 with that much scrutiny, then you're a shit leader.
I was about to say
not.
You're right. There's a trust factor. What's the trust factor here on this? They need to be coddled. I think the barrack. I'll be honest with you. I think CQ, staff duty, the barracks need to be freaking gone. The Army should just abolish all of that. They should just go by. Then, of course, when you say that, then you'll have those same leaders go, what about those guys that want to go buy that, what if they buy a vehicle on their own, blah, blah, blah. Well, at that point, that's where you have to balance the leadership style of saying, hey, look, you're gonna buy this vehicle, then here, let me sit down and do this. You have to communicate with your soldiers, right? I remember, I don't understand how this is so freaking hard.
That's the other thing too. Like, okay, well, fucking privates do dumb shit. 20-year-olds do dumb shit. I have an 18-year-old stepson who's not in the Army, right? Does stupid shit with his money, right? But if you are a squad leader, team leader, sit down with your fucking Joes and when you have all this fucking sergeant's time training and bullshit, right? Do a personal finance section. Right? Just a little fucking, hey, this is how interest rates work. This is how, because there are people in this world who don't know how that shit works, how the savings account works, how all this, like, I took my son, who's now a PFC, and sat him down when he was like 16 years old and showed him how, like, IRAs work. And he's got a retirement fund already set up. He's putting money into his IRA and he's fucking diversifying his bonds and shit.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, with Wu-Tang.
Yeah, he's Wu-Tanging that shit up. Like not everyone has fathers who do that, right? Yeah, Phil, that's right. The Marine Corps does that. When you're at basic training, when you're at boot camp or you're at MCT, they make you take personal finance from Marines or some shit like that. Every fucking PFC and Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps and on up has taken that. I don't know how much it helps or how much it doesn't, but teach your dudes that shit. If you have these afternoons where you don't have shit going on, right, and you don't want to just let your guys go because privates do dumb shit, train them on shit that makes sense to them. Because not only are you going to like help them out as a private, so you're not going to get yelled at, but you're also going to make them better fucking human beings in the long run, right? Teach them these. I
think those classes should be like that should be a leader taught thing. That should be like a 10-level test. Since we don't do all these other extra classes that we used to do anymore, I think that should be the class now, is teaching a soldier how to write a check or how to balance a checkbook or how to look into the, you know what I mean, how to go, and then go into investments and stuff like that. When you tell a Joe that, hey, how far do you want to go in your career, and you say, hey, look, if you drop that, this amount of money until you hit a certain rank, and then when you get promoted, drop a little extra more money until you keep going and keep going. And after 20, I mean, I literally had leaders that would sit down with me. I had one who was like all into stocks, all into bonds, all in mutual funds. And all he had was straight. I mean, of course, leaders. And here's another thing, too. There's like ethical issues because then the Army thinks that you're going to push towards a specific financial group and then you're going to ruin privates. And so the thing is that I've seen.
But you can go outside the front gate. We finance E1 and up.
Right, exactly.
Retired ass colonel out there.
Exactly, or retired sergeant major. The same guy that has the PT belt industry is the same guy that's ripping off Joes. He's the same way.
Shutting down Sharkies and shit. Yeah, we see you out there.
Yeah, you go stupid. These soldiers, man. These new soldiers don't know what's up. Your alias is your credit. We finance E1 and up right now.
I don't even know how they can do it right now. Fuck. I don't normally get a lot of fast food, right? But I realize with inflation going the way it is that we don't have fucking money, right? And no matter how much money you think you make, you ain't got money. No, ain't how it works. Fucking McDonald's for 4 people to eat was like almost $50.
I know, dude.
48 something. And not even going crazy, like just 4 medium meals.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I even when just me and Baby Ice, man. Then just me and Baby Ice eating some McDonald's. I mean, of course, he wants to freaking eat the whole freaking restaurant, but it's just like, dang, dude.
But anyway, but I'm just saying these fucking privates ain't got no money. They don't have real. But teach them how to manage it, and they will. Right, and then when those privates are sergeants, guess what they're going to do? Teach them the same shit that you taught them, Sergeant. They're going to teach them this is a cycle. This whole thing is cyclical, right? Because if you, as a sergeant, as a leader, in whatever capacity you are, teach them how to like waste time. Let's be honest. There are times in the Army where you have time to waste, right? So when that time, in that downtime, you have 3 options. You can let them go home, you can teach them something useful, or you can fill it with meaningless bullshit. So why do we promote leaders that fill people's time with meaningless bullshit? Right? It gets back to that "Sergeant Major, don't walk on my grass" thing, right? That starts when they're a corporal or a sergeant saying, "Hey, I got nothing to do, so let's go sweep the motor pool." Why? Why are we sweeping up gravel? This is fucking dumb. Why am I? We should get all these pictures of these fucking privates in these places like mopping the parking lot in the rain or some shit, right? That's because 1, they might be a fuck up, but 2, we're not taking care of our troops, right? We're gonna have shitbirds. You're gonna have a shitbird. If you are any type of leader, you've met the shitbird, right? But you don't gotta treat everyone like a shitbird.
You know, it's
nurture these troops, and they're gonna turn into better troops and better soldiers at the end of the day.
It's almost like if you keep it's like that mass punishment thing. Just because you had one Joe bounce a bunch of checks doesn't mean that you punish everyone by not, you know what I mean? Talk to them, teach them about, you know, and some of it's almost like embarrassing too. Some of them get embarrassed. Some of it to them is embarrassing that that you can't talk about that topic because it's not good, or it's embarrassing, or you're intruding on their feelings and all that. So the same individuals that say you're intruding on their feelings are the ones that are saying, "Who's giving them the classes for this? Where's this?" You know what I mean? I hear you, man. I know this is like a totally freaking Sergeant's Time event, but hey, I appreciate you. I like you hanging out.
Hey, we'll get on it, man. I'll get on this shit. I don't give a fuck. But when we get on, God, but why do we? As someone who was in the Army as long as you were, what did you ever see a point to the mass punishments, to the waste of time bullshit?
No, never saw any. I never saw any use of mass punishment unless it was a team. It was a team. How do I say this? Unless it was a team teaching event. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a mass punishment to the whole det or to the whole platoon. Does that make sense? It was like a team. It was a team mash punishment for somebody that should have known better, or should have checked something, or should have looked at something, as opposed to doing the whole platoon and busting the whole platoon or busting the whole company.
There was a couple times when I was a squad leader that I had a couple guys in my squad that they like to drink. Whether that was right, wrong, indifferent, like to drink. I don't give a shit. You drink what you want.
Right.
But don't show up to formation fucking drunk.
Right.
Don't go talk to platoon sergeant drunk when I'm your fucking squad leader. Now I got to
Right.
fucking take care of your shit.
Right.
I'm going to run you.
Right.
I'm going to run all you Joes. Fucking take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Exactly.
That's a whole different situation than, you know, you got these fucking first sergeants that will destroy a whole company, and then they're fucking with their dudes all the time. You're fucking with your troops. Why? What are you accomplishing? Well, you know what you're doing is you're making those guys who are on the fence about re-enlisting saying, fuck this. I mean, at the beginning of this show, all these fucking people saying, this place is a shithole. Fuck Fort Hood. Fuck wherever they were at, right? Fuck Bragg. Fuck all of it. Was it Bragg that pissed you off, or was it your first sergeant when you were?
Right, exactly.
Which one is? Like, I enjoyed Bragg. I thought Bragg was a fine place.
That's right.
Right?
Very fine
there,
place.
and I enjoyed what I did. Right? So I'm not going to turn around and say fuck Bragg or fuck Carson or fuck wherever just because you don't like it. Okay, there are places that are genuine shit like Polk. Who the fuck likes Fort Polk?
Vishal Singh is telling us to drink, and we're like, dude, I am drinking, man. I'm like, freaking.
I got my Diet Mountain Dew right chow.
I got my coffee. Oh yeah, I got my coffee from from the guys that stocking me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Phil, unless it was team fuck up. There are. God, we're gonna get into this now. Okay, just this morning, I was taking my kids to school, right? And I was talking to Gabriel. He's a 4th grader, and I was like, "You ready for school, Gabe?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He's like, "Mondays suck." I mean, you too young to have Mondays suck. I was like, you know what? If you go in with this positive attitude, you're gonna have a good day. If you go in saying it's gonna suck, guess what? It's gonna suck. I'm like, you have to have a positive attitude. Positive attitude brings positive results, right? If everyone you hang out with says it sucks, everyone you're around sucks, this sucks, that sucks, da-da-da-da-da, Benning sucks, Bragg sucks, I suck, all of it, right? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to have a shitty attitude, and you're going to be like, fuck this place.
Why are you even in the Army? at that point.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna victimize or be a victim to everything in the Army, I'm granted like legit, you know, like whining about everything. Then why even stay in?
Right.
Yeah, you get out.
Yeah, and that's whatever too. Like the Army ain't for everybody.
Knox blows dogs for quarters. What?
I do like this one. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That's right.
Exactly.
When did we turn into that Army? When did we turn into that Army? We don't need to be that Army.
Yeah, we don't need to
and
be
like
that.
there's two places that exist that people speak fondly of, right? And that's Iraq and Afghanistan. People have all these great stories about all this cool shit they did in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's it. Like everywhere else, everyone else fucking hates everywhere.
You know, that's a good point. Everyone's trying to get to Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, you think about veterans who feel that, you know, the call for being part of something or missing out, or they felt that they missed out, then yeah, they I'd rather be deployed. I mean, I've said that a couple times myself. I'd rather be deployed, or I'd rather be. Oh, this blows. I don't want to be back here. And those were some of the installations that I liked, like brag, you know, or brag, or Europe. You know, those are some of the spots that you'd go to, and you're just like, yeah, man. Or you just get frustrated in the office or frustrated at work, and then you go, God, man, I wish I was back in Mosul. God, I want to go back to Baghdad, man. Holy crap! Oh, this blows. Or go back up to Kurdistan. You know what I mean?
I want to go to fucking Anaconda and get some crab legs for lunch or some shit. You know what I mean?
Go to Camp Stryker to get surf and turf, bro. Come on, and then go hit a patrol out on the Route Irish, and then you know, go do a mail run.
but I mean, but honestly though, I will say, like, we joke about that, but I know, like, when I was in Iraq, hey, guess who wasn't filling sandbags and fucking doing dumb shit? And like, we cleaned our weapons. Like, I ran gun trucks, so we cleaned our weapons. We PMCS our trucks. And they left us alone. We ate chow and fucking PT'd, and then we had our next mission. And we just kept doing that for a little over a year. We didn't have all the stupid bullshit. We didn't have all the, because people were like, oh, you're getting shot at. We'll just, okay, you got the day off. Like, go fucking, we'll just leave you alone.
Chelsea's
got that's what we need to do. Just get shot at.
Chelsea's got a good point. Life was just easier there. Life finds a way, and it was just easier there. It was hashtag institutionalized. It was just easier. It was just, I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was a lot of bullshit going on. Now we have idle hands. Then we're back. Idle hands and idle commands ready to micromanage. So
yeah. Well, this gets back. Oh my God, I'm gonna get into this. Drill sergeants. Fucking, and people who didn't really deploy, and they're just like, they fucking show up to the drill field as a sergeant, and then they become a drill sergeant, and they're a drill sergeant until they get sergeant first class, and they go back and they're platoon sergeant. They're fucking smoke at this.
Yeah.
They never actually been a sergeant.
Yeah, exactly. To them, I'll be honest with you though, that I have met some NCOs that have balanced that out. That they were a drill sergeant, they deployed, they went back to the line, they did a couple more deployments, but and when they left the trail and they came back, they were just doing that. They just did that role. You know what I mean? That was the role. You know what I mean?
It just seemed like way too many of those fucking. It's like they took the brown round off and they didn't forget. Like all that shit would just seem so ingrained in them.
Right. Yeah.
That they didn't know how to be a leader. They knew how to yell at privates.
Well, some of it.
And it's like.
I'm
a fucking staff sergeant. You don't gotta yell at me.
Some of it was that way. Some of it was like I have known some individuals that did the drill sergeant thingy. They'd never done anything but being a drill sergeant, and said, "Hey, you know, this is what being an NCO is all about." I'm like, "No, that's not what being. I'm not. Again, I love drill sergeants. Drill sergeants, you know, I respect.
It's a job I never did. A job you couldn't have given me if they'd have been
I would love to have done that job.
Times over, you're saying I didn't see anyone saying like recruiting duty. You know what? If it would have came down, if it would have been like, hey, Sergeant Radar, you were gonna go be a drill sergeant or you were gonna go be a recruiter, I might have fucking I don't know. I'm glad I got hurt when I did, because I felt like that shit was coming. You know what I mean?
So glad. There's two duties that I wish I got to do when I was in one duty station. It's funny, after leaving the service and then seeing everybody talk about how cool Korea was, because back in the day, Korea wasn't the place to joke around with. And nobody wanted to go to freaking Korea. Everyone was like, oh God, and as a matter of fact, until Iraq kicked off, then everybody was trying to get to Korea. But it was like Korea and then drill sergeant. That would have been, I think that was, those are my, there's I have some army regrets that I have regrets, but going to Korea would have been probably a cool tour if I had done it like at the beginning. And then
I went to for like 20 minutes. That was longer than that. It was about a month. That was when I actually went to the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps when I went to Korea.
Oh, okay.
And we did it was one of the exercises, and we flew in there. It was cold as shit, and I was there for 2 weeks, and it was so cold we couldn't hardly get our helicopter started to fly out. The JP was starting to gel and shit. It was getting cold, and I was like, "Oh, this place fucking sucks. Wow, see ya."
Oh.
And I flew back. We flew out of that bitch, and I never looked back. I was like, "Nope, Korea sucks."
Yeah, I didn't want to. Again, I didn't want to. I don't know. Just the way things went. The way the life path went for me. Korea and drill sergeant didn't happen. I almost made it to rating school. That didn't happen. So it was just kind of like, well, I guess I just do what I got to do. Just gotta keep going. Just
right. Chelsea has a good point. She volunteered for Korea, knew it was going to happen, and she wanted to go on her own terms. Absolutely. I know a lot of people that would do shit like that. Actually, you know what? Almost everybody I know that's a recruiter did the same thing. Like, this shit's happening. This shit's going to happen, and it's going to happen on my terms. And going to Korea, and honestly, I had some people like that going to Iraq, too. They volunteered to go with units because they knew they were going to go, and they might as well go with their buddies. They might as well go do what the fuck they wanted to do instead of getting called up.
I had some friends that tried to freaking get on deployments and stuff like that because they were good at what they did. They either put them on the platform as instructors or they pulled them off the line, and it killed them. It killed them bad because they wanted to go back and be with their troops and stuff like that. And it was just like, oh, great guys too. But then of course, you have the campouts, the ones that have, you see,
ones that went to
the ones that
went to Trade Hawk and never left.
And never left.
Trade Hawk in 03 and they retired in fucking 2013 and no one saw them.
Right, no one saw them again. Yeah, you're like, where the hell did that person go? I thought they were deployed or something like that. Or you had somebody else that was. You're kind of like, how come, dude? You got like little bit of salad on your chest. What did you just like kind of camp? Oh well, I did recruiting and I did drill sergeant. I did this, and this, and then I worked at Trade Hawk, and then okay. So no wonder why the person that I knew deployed 2 more times before because you didn't, because you didn't. I know Recruiter Times has got some stories about that stuff. I always see their page. And they're always looking at individuals who are like, hey, man, how'd you serve like the entire GWAT and not have gone anywhere?
Right. They just fucking back.
Yep.
Yeah, they get out of recruiting and they go to fucking then they go to they're like AIT drill sergeant or some shit.
Right.
So they're not an instructor, but they're an instructor, and I couldn't do this shit.
You humble me, Michelle. You humble me. He said ice for president. Man, I have too many skeletons in my closet. I have too much drama going on. I had somebody would try to cancel me out for everything if I ran for office. So, yeah.
How many deployments do we have? I have 2, Anthony. I have 2. I got hurt on my second one, and I got medically retired. So that's that was deployments to Iraq or Afghanistan. That was combat deployments. I mean, all the other little shit. I don't know, however you want to count that.
Do you count training exercises in a combat zone in a combat area? A deployment or something like that. I know some people. The way I don't know that thing's kind of getting played out now. You know what I mean? Because we're doing so much crap. It would just be oh well. I always tell people that I'm a cook, and I stayed at home. I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything fun. I just drove around in this fucking circle.
I didn't do anything fun. Look back. I just had a big bullhorn on my truck, and then I just told people to get out of the way or something like that, or play some Metallica or some shit. I really didn't.
I did the same thing, but I was behind a 50 cal, and I just said MC or whatever.
Ifshi, yeah.
Pointed a 50 cal or a shotgun, and it
exactly.
ran away. I don't know.
I didn't really do it. Like I said, I don't know. It's hard. I don't like to talk about myself. So it's one of those things where people are like, I didn't know you did that. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should do that, or maybe you need to get this. Oh, that was another thing too.
Maybe you should do. Do they pay that? Is that a contractor gig where you can just drive around Iraq and yell MCA kids?
Well, what was funny is that when I was speaking to the reserve kids, they were just like, they were like, hey, Sergeant Major, hey, Sergeant Major. And I just felt really weird, dude. I was like, I don't, you guys can call me Ken, right? And everyone's introducing me by my retired rank. I don't like, I get that there's some sort of formality to that stuff, but I felt like, I waited almost 3 decades to be called Ken.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you and the chaplain stood up. Okay, I'm gonna bust on you, chaplain. Even the chaplain stood up and got like almost like in parade rest. And I said, "Don't stop! Don't do that, dude! Don't do that! Don't!" So, anyways, hey, we got a guest today. Shit, I forgot to. Yeah, I totally blabbing about a guest, blabbing about stuff right now, and I forgot to say that we had a guest today. We have Cody Cross on the Fallen Hero Network. He's gonna come on shortly, and we're gonna get him set up so he can shoot the breeze about his nonprofit and out in Utah. I don't know, that shit was like cold, dude. Holy crap. Don Cesar, exactly, Simón ese, anda pues. That's right, Battlefield DJ, bro. Battlefield DJ. Man, but it was that's pretty cool. He's gonna come on and talk about what he does for veterans with his trucking company, and we're gonna post some graphics up, and he's gonna shoot the breeze. So we're gonna set up. Let's see, we got like 5 minutes or something like that. Let me see, what time is it right now? Yeah, we can set them up right quick, and then we're gonna watch that. What's that? Some retirees take that retired rank pretty seriously. Watch out, the Brovets will get you. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. I didn't like to do it. I did it once to somebody who tried to. Well, I'm a retired blah, blah, and I'm like, what rank did you retire as? And I was like, Sergeant Major. And they're like, oh. I said, don't call me that, dude. You can call me Ken. Just call me Ken. Chelsea says she's already started that shit already. She's already started the first name thing. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing wrong with that.
Haven't started term leave. That's right, Chelsea. Just fucking do it, man. I think that, you know what? I always kind of, I don't know. I guess with what my guys always knew my first name. You know what I mean? And they knew that there was a time to call me Soren, and there was time to call me by my first name.
Right.
And I try to keep it civil at that. There was times I need to be professional, and there was times
there's nothing wrong with that. There's
when
nothing.
When I had the steam coming out, and I was getting the knife hand going, that's when it was time to reply yes, Sergeant.
Right.
But there's also times to not.
Right. Exactly. No, it sounds like you know your place. It sounds like professionalism, stuff like that. So we're gonna get Cody set up, and then we'll be right back. So everyone, get your glasses topped off, refill some coffee. I'm drinking a lot of coffee right now, dude, so I'm going to have to go hit the head right quick. But other than that, everyone, refill your glasses, go take a smoke break right quick, or if you just want to refill, whatever, shots. We'll be right back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Take this photograph, tell me what it is to see when you look at me. Deep into the photography, I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? While I make it home alive, should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier, green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight, get peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
It's 3 a.m. and the sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. A 100 boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Well, most of us, we made it home, but we never came back. But when we close our eyes at night, we hear a rocket attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show.
Shots. And we're back. Man, with my guest, Cody Cross. Cody Cross from the Fallen Hero Network. What's going on, big man?
Much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, well, sorry about the delay, bro. We were kind of messing with the tech and stuff. Had to make sure you were set up. Anyway, so Cody, tell us about yourself, man.
So so I'm out here in Utah, Salt Lake City. I'm the founder of the Fallen Hero Network. Veteran. I know you guys are Army. We can have that debate, right? Who chose to live better? But I was Air Force.
Won't hold it against you. Won't hold it against you.
I don't hold it against my boys either. I've got my oldest boy. He's just finishing up his enlistment in the reserves. My middle boy's in Benning right now, going through infantry school. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, told him he needed to take advantage of that opportunity to hit jump school and Ranger school while he was there. So I was security forces in the Air Force, so I had the ability to spend a little time with the Army.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how? I mean, so you didn't have any influence over not doing security forces or Army MP, or did you just kind of like, no, dude, you're gonna do this?
Actually, no. Like my oldest boy. His choice to enlist in the military was to save his life, because Dad was going to kill him. So that was self-preservation. My middle boy, Noah, he actually wanted to go Air Force, but the way they've changed things, you can't enlist in the Air Force anymore, guaranteed career field. You go in open general and they stick you wherever. And it's like I told Noah, I was like, dude, you want to kill people and blow up their shit. If they make you a cook, you're going to be fucking miserable and you're not going to stay. You're not going to enjoy it. So if they're not going to let you pick the career you want to go into, or at least have a choice of careers, then you need to find something that works better for you. And Army's where he went.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Is he pretty pumped? Was he enthusiastic about it?
Yeah, he's shit's changed, dude. I actually talk to him on the phone every weekend, which we had one phone call during basic when I went through, but
exactly.
But yeah, he's having a good time. I mean, with social media, right? I saw some pictures of him coming out of the CS chamber. Makes me wonder what's wrong with my son, because he looked like he fucking enjoyed it. Which is, yeah. And then I asked him, he's like, yeah, it wasn't that bad, Dad. And I'm like, well, there's clearly something wrong with you. But yeah, he's excited. They're doing their mounted operations now and all that kind of stuff. He'll actually be home here in a few weeks, I guess they get a break for Christmas now during
They do.
AI.
They do.
So,
they do.
So yeah, Dad went ahead and bought him a ticket, so I knew where he was going to land.
That is so awesome, man. Do you have any war stories that you tell him or talk to him about, or do you just tell him to keep his nose clean?
No, see, I'm a bad dad. I told him when he got off the bus to find the first drill sergeant, slap him on the ass, tell him good game. I told him to establish dominance quickly. But he was clearly smarter than I thought because he didn't do any of that shit. But I mean, I had a female drill sergeant when I went through basic, and I warned him, I don't give a shit how tough you are, how big of balls you have. You have a female drill sergeant, you're in for a world of shit. And so he was fortunate he didn't get one.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome, man. Did you tell him you were coming on here tonight?
I hadn't had a chance to really talk to him about it. He tries to, he gets an hour on his phone, so he splits his calls pretty quick, as many people as he can between his mom and me and his brothers and his fiance and stuff. So, but yeah, he wants to make it a career. So
That's
my
awesome.
middle boy, he wants to make a career out of the military. He wants to go commissioned, and it's like I told him. They said, whichever commissioning route you go, you just need to remember one thing. And he said, what's that? And I said, you don't run that fucking flight. He's all, what do you mean? If I'm the flight commander, I'm like, you don't run that fucking flight. That flight sergeant runs that fucking flight. You're a figurehead just in case we need a signature.
Are you sure you weren't in the Army, dude? Because you're sounding Army-ish.
Like I said, I spent a lot of time with you. I got my jump wings. I went through RIP. I know what it's about. I spent a lot of time at Bragg and Benning.
That's awesome, man. That is so awesome. So that we've covered your experience and your family's experience. What tell us about the Fallen Hero Network, man.
So Fallen Hero Network is an organization that we started out here. Initially, it was focused on Utah as a way to provide services for the remaining family members of fallen first responders. We started it when a local officer, Cody Brotherson, was killed by a couple little thugs that had stolen a car, and he tried to throw a set of spike strips, and they ran him down. And we started it initially because we knew the family. And we wanted to do something so that they would know that, he wouldn't be forgotten. And I also own, aside from my trucking company, I also own a marina. And so we have boats and cabins and jet skis and all that kind of bullshit. And so, I was like, well, God, what can we do for these guys? And so we did a fishing tournament. And we invited the family up, and we put them up in cabins and everything for a weekend, gave them full access to all of our watercraft, and just gave them a place to go to get away. And we had a concert, small private concert, I should say, with Kalen Chase. Those of you that know who Korn is.
Yeah.
Kalen was one of the singers with Korn. He and a couple other guys with Vimic came up and did a private concert for the family, and it was just a great time. Well, the byproduct was we made money, which was never the intent. And as crass as it may be to say, as far as I was concerned, that was blood money, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So we donated it to an organization out here called the 1033 Network, 1033 Foundation, that year, in Cody Brotherson's name, to fund a scholarship. And it's since just grown. We've taken on more of a national role. We've been out to Cincinnati this last summer with some associates that you guys have, helping with a couple events out there. I'll actually be back out there again later this week. We've done a lot of the Western states. But yeah, when there's a firefighter, a police officer, military member killed in the line of duty, we're right there. We had a flag dedicated by the Utah State Legislature, and it was flown over our Capitol. And by legislative decree, that flag is named the Utah Flag of the Fallen, and we are charged with the care, custody, and control of that flag. And when there's a line of duty death here in Utah, we will transport that flag anywhere in the state free of charge, so that it can be used to honor that lost first responder. And in the first 2 years, the Utah Highway Patrol escorted us over 3,000 miles through the state of Utah with that flag. We don't ever take it anywhere without an armed escort. You know, I guess the laws are different from state to state. You know, you can use a firearm to defend property in this state or not in another state. But, you know, veteran to veteran, that particular flag right there, because of what it symbolizes and who it's honored, I'll lay down fire to protect that flag.
No, I hear you.
We will not let that flag go anywhere unarmed.
No, I hear you, man. How hard was it to get started up once you started working the nonprofit? What was what was the I don't know, how'd you come up with it? Was it just like I think I need to do this, or what was an event other than was it what drove you even more to follow through?
You know, what drove me is after we, did the first event for Cody Brotherson's family, then we had a few more line of duty deaths. November seems to be a really bad month for the state of Utah for some reason. And because of my relationship with different law enforcement agencies and stuff in the state and the people that I know, I came into contact with those families. And what I found was a common thread among all of them, that their fear was that their loved one would be forgotten. We know what a battle cross is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we put those on the battlefield for our own benefit, right? I mean, I grew up around the national cemeteries. My mom worked at the Fort Logan National Cemetery for, a million years. And so, so that whole military burial and funerals and all that stuff, I have a little bit different relationship to that just because I grew up with it. And so I can look at that a lot more objectively than a lot of people can. And, those things are not for the dead. They're for the living. The military honors, they say, that fallen brother or sister, those honors are for that fallen brother or sister. Well, they are, but those honors provide a comfort to the family, that perfection. I did military detail, burial detail, when I was in the Air Force, and that perfection that you strive for. I mean, you want to talk about, and I'm not trying to blow your guys' skirt up because you guys were Army, because I'll never do that for you. But fucking Tomb of the Unknown Soldier,
right?
The old regiment, those fuckers got their shit straight.
Right, they do.
And that perfection is a comfort, and it's not for the dead, it's not for the lost, it's for the ones that are left behind. And so I saw this common thread of, these families were worried that their loved one would be forgotten. And I'm like, well, how do we do something about that? And that's where the idea for the Flag of the Fallen came from, is we can now become involved from the time of loss through the services and after the fact, right? And bring some of that military discipline, so to speak, into that process with the use of that flag. We had a young man die 2 years ago, Nathan Lyday up in Ogden City Police Department. And we actually met his body at the medical examiner's office, and he went home under our flag. So, I mean, it's a huge humbling honor. But that's what drove it. I've taken my boys with me to some of these events. And I'm not a huge public speaker. It doesn't scare me. It's just not my thing. But, my boys can tell you there's not a single one of them that the families don't ask me if I'll speak, and then I do, and then I end up crying, and I feel like a little bitch. But you know, it is what it is.
Hey man,
I didn't even know
these kind of feels. Those kind of feels, brother, are just the way it is, man. You just feel that. You know what I mean? It just. Yeah. I have no shame feeling it too. So I'm just like, it just comes out. You know what I mean? You have that pride for your, for the brotherhood and sisterhood, man.
I mean, probably the most honoring or humble thing that I've done, and you know, I'm a huge history buff. This last summer, Theodore Jensen, who served in the U.S. Navy, was killed during Pearl Harbor. On the USS Oklahoma, they identified his remains, and he was from Utah. So obviously, reached out and asked us if we would assist in providing honors for Theodore. And, you know, absolutely. I mean, the man's been on duty the last 80 years, you know?
Exactly.
So we, police escort, took the flag down, and then the family asked me if I would open the services, and I was like, well, that's not really why I came, but can't fucking say no. I mean,
really.
You know? And, you know, we did, and it was, I mean, that was probably the most humbling thing to do, because I literally now have a tangible connection to Pearl Harbor. You know, I mean, we learned about it, right? You know, I mean, that was that singular event was world changing. You know, that for that generation, Pearl Harbor is our 9/11.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, tomorrow is the 80th anniversary of it too, so
yeah. So I mean, that was quite an honor, and it's just, you know, I never intended it to go the way it has, but it's just grown. We're in our 6th year now. I mean, we do an annual event every year. COVID's kind of played hell with that a little bit, depending on how you want to roll with COVID. I think it's a crock of shit, but whatever. I mean, our last event that we held, we had over 1,000 people there. I mean, it's and all the money that we raise, you know, we turn around and utilize that to fund scholarships, to you know, I'm one of those guys that says don't reinvent the wheel, right? I want to army-proof everything. So if there's an organization out there doing something that needs to be done, we don't need to do the same thing. We will just try to work with them and support them so that they can further their efforts. That's why we call it the Fallen Hero Network. It's a network of like-minded groups and organizations and businesses. And we come together and we make shit happen. I mean, we had a couple deputies get shot at the sheriff's department this last summer, and I made one phone call, and within 20 minutes, we had lunch for the entire sheriff's office down there, because I knew they were going to be there all day, you know, and people think of that stuff and they're like, well, that doesn't mean anything. But for those, you know, in our time, right, the warriors were the service members. You know, Andy Griffith was what we thought of as police officers, right?
Exactly.
Today it ain't that way. You know, these guys walking a beat in, I mean, fuck, Chicago's close to Cincinnati. I got to go there. But, I mean, anywhere in this country.
No, I hear you.
Right? These officers walking a beat. Dude, it's a battle zone.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
these guys are in a fucking hot AO. Everybody hates them because they're cops, you know, and dude, all they want to do is go home. They just want to go home. Same thing we did when we were deployed.
Right.
We just want to go home.
Exactly. You know, and I always find it, you know, I was just telling, it feels kind of awkward when we brag upon ourselves, but then it feels, I always feel like I have to thank a police officer, because they're deployed every freaking day. When we deployed, you know, 9 months to a year to 14 months, and we did our cycles, and then we did our patrols or do whatever, and then we came back, and then we kind of like desensitized. You know what I mean? It was just kind of.
Yeah, but we got a 30-day mid-tour. They don't get that shit.
Right. Exactly. You know,
it's a 20-year career to them, and they're stuck on it.
Yep. I got your link to website in the chats as well, and it's pinned on there. So if you guys want to go to fallenheronetwork.org, you can go ahead and check that out. It's already in there. I know everyone's like dropping the dropping links. We also have your Facebook page in the highlighted and tagged in the post too. So
awesome.
All right, so the trucking. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up the trucks. So,
oh, okay. Go for it.
And I'm also, I'm fortunate. You own a truck. I like to make big statements. Right now, I'm contemplating wrapping a trailer with something that says something about NASCAR and "Let's Go Brandon" or something. But I figured, I've got these 53-foot rolling billboards. Let's let these officers and these first responders see these things and remind them that we give a shit. That we do care.
Exactly.
The one that you're showing right there, that one hasn't even hit the road yet. That one has the names. That trailer is called Honor 13. It has the names of the 13 service members that Joe Biden killed during the Afghanistan evacuation that he totally fucked up. So we've got that one. We've got another one called Defender 1, and that is a trailer that pays tribute to our nation's service members. The graphics on that one kind of represent every branch of the service. And then we have another one called Hero 1, which represents all of our first responders, military. It has graphics that bring us back to the World Trade Center, Twin Towers, Statue of Liberty. And so we have a series, and that one right there is Hero 1. Our theory behind it and what we're trying to do is, as we progress through the series, we want to have a trailer for each branch of the military. We'll probably include the Coast Guard so we don't have to listen to it.
Don't forget the Space Force, dude.
Oh, yeah, Space Force. That's right. Yeah.
Don't leave them.
We'll have USS Enterprise. But then we want to have one that's specific to law enforcement and specific to fire service, and it's just kind of a rolling reminder, to these people, that are out there every day, supporting our way of life. I'm connected in a lot of ways to it, being a veteran, also prior law enforcement, prior fire service. So, I've got a lot of connections there. My blood bleeds a lot of colors. But at the end of the day, none of them, regardless whether it's military, law enforcement, fire service, EMS, none of them really, truly ever get to see the full appreciation, and so it's just a way to try to do that. We take these trucks to events. The families get to see them. Cody Brotherson's family, I've got to take his little brother for a ride in one of the trucks. He's been on me pretty hard about that. So, but that's literally what it comes down to. It's our first and foremost, our focus is to make sure we don't let any of these heroes be forgotten.
Exactly.
And having these trailers, I said, wow, it's a perfect opportunity for me to stick it in front of someone's face, and so that's what we've done. Honestly, the expense to wrapping those trailers, that comes out of my pocket. The network doesn't pay for that, so that it's about $10,000 a trailer to wrap those like that. Everything that we do to them. And then a percentage of the proceeds from the trucking company actually funnel back to the Fallen Hero Network to help fund the things that we do. So we actually next week, I've got to give a couple grants. We have a new police department that was created out here. A city agency separated from the county, and we're going to issue them a grant for $2,500 so that they can get their FOP funded with funds that they can have in reserve for mental health and wellness of their officers when there's a critical incident, something like that. You know, I mean, we help on all kinds of levels. You know, it's not just giving money. You know, if someone needs help putting something together or logistics behind something, ask us, and we have the ability. We're there. You know, it's just nobody in the Fallen Hero Network draws a paycheck. Nobody gets a dime. We actually don't give tax receipts for donations. And the great thing about that is that means if you're donating to us, you're not doing it for a tax advantage. You're doing it for the right reason. So it's, you know, it's a very unique model. It keeps us small, but it keeps us humble too. And it keeps us, you know, on track with what we want to do.
We have in the link, guys, if you go to the fallenheronetwork.org site, you can go into some of the store and look at some of the swag that they have, and that also is contributing to that. But also you can donate there too and contact them, and so that way you can communicate with them or whatever services. You know, you bring up a good point about Leo behavioral health, man. In Utah, how is it? Is there a network there from the state that provides behavioral health assistance to the Leos there?
Most of the individual organizations or agencies, they pretty much have some staff available within those organizations. You know, locally, I'm sure that there is a you know, hierarchy or a statewide net of available resources. But I mean, that's, you know, just like the military. I mean, you know, when we were in, the Air Force, we wanted to call it life skills because, you know, the term mental health had some bad connotations to it.
Right.
But you didn't want to go there because that was going to end your career. You know, we had to do our annual physical health assessment bullshit, and you know, every time we would do it, they would be like, you know, Staff Sergeant Cross, you're at extremely high risk of stress related, you know, anger issues. And I'm like, well, no shit, I'm in the military.
Yeah, who was it?
What part of that did you fucking miss? You know, I'm a cop in the military. Everybody hates me because, that's right, I'm here. You know, so. But I mean, all that shit was hush hush, right? I mean, you had to be tough. You had to be, you know, your job is to kill people and break their shit. And you know, that's why PTSD and TBI and all this stuff. That's why it's not that, in my opinion, right? It's not that it's more prevalent today than it ever was. It's that we now recognize it. You know, where we didn't before. And I think because of that awareness, probably starting with the military, is they're now starting to see that, hey, that same shit happens, you know, with these first responders. I mean, you got to have a pretty fucking morbid sense of humor to see some of the shit that these cops see, you know, and these firefighters see every day and go home to your family.
Yeah, or it's the same thing with people who are in the military. It's almost like veterans and first responders can kind of get along when it comes to stuff like that because we all kind of have that morbid sense of humor, and so it's pretty cool that you've gotten a veteran touch to it to add to it. Now, do you work with another group that I saw, and it was the Major Brent Taylor Foundation? Can you tell us about that?
So yeah, Major Brent Taylor. He was the mayor of North Ogden, Utah Army National Guard, and I believe it was his third deployment to the sandbox. And I don't know all the details, so if I misspeak, then I'll definitely make sure I get that corrected. But my understanding is he was operating in a capacity where they were teaching local forces tactics and to defend themselves, and one of them actually came in with a vest and, you know, detonated it, and it killed Major Taylor, killed Brent. His wife has since created the Major Brent Taylor Foundation. Jenny is an amazing woman. I can't even begin to describe the tenacity this woman has. And she's got some awesome missions, some awesome goals. Trying to get, it's with her, it's about patriotism and recognizing, what these service members do for the country and the legacy of her husband and all service members. And so we do a lot of work with them. I'm hoping to undertake a rather large project that with them that we're going to hopefully get a chance to sit down with them and discuss. That would be a nationwide project. But I can't release any details on that yet. But when that one hits, that'll be a huge, huge thing. But yeah, I mean, the Brent Taylor Foundation, Jenny and all the people there, amazing. They have a massive, huge, I can't even begin to tell you how big it is, flag. It's called the Major. And they literally will run a cable from one mountain peak to another mountain peak and then fly this flag in a canyon. I mean, it's just massive.
Oh, I think I saw that on one of my Facebook feeds. Let's keep talking and I'll pull it up because I think I saw that on one of my Facebook feeds.
Yeah, they do some amazing things. I mean, Jenny's, she's about educating youth and she put together, her and her team put together a phenomenal interactive, immersive exhibit for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. They called us, Jenny called me because she had seen our trucks, a couple of them, and asked me if we had any commitments for 9/11. And at that point in time, with that particular equipment, we did not. And so she asked if we would be willing to bring those up to Ogden, which is about 45 minutes north of Salt Lake, and to her event. And absolutely, I mean, it's pretty hard for me to say no. So we took those up, and I had an opportunity to, kind of walk through the exhibit before it actually opened. And I was astonished. It was, having been active duty on that day. There's the Major. But having been active duty military that day and recognizing the way the world changed, and then walking through what her and her team had created, it literally took me back to that day. Which I guess is good and bad. But I've never seen anything or experienced anything that could take me back to what I experienced that morning. Jenny and I have had some conversations, and I hear people all the time that say, what we're missing is the day after 9/11.
Right.
The brotherhood, the camaraderie, the patriotism. And while I understand that, and I agree, but that's not what I felt. And I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure there's a lot of service members or veterans that would share the same sentiment. While the nation as a whole overall may have felt that way, that's not what I felt. I was in a combat career field. I knew what that meant for me. We were going to war. They attacked us at home, so that sense of patriotism wasn't there. It was more, oh my God, this shit's real.
Yeah. I felt that same, I felt anger. I felt, hey, I knew this was coming. I knew war was coming. And after the day after, September 12th, then that's when I started to see. I mean, it kind of reinforced me being pissed off. It reinforced me being angry that we were attacked by the way the country pulled together, and it made you feel like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm not the only one that's sticking right here. You know what I mean? It's just like, but on top of that, I was I was so pissed off. I didn't even talk that day. I could hardly talk that day. I was so pissed off that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on leave. I was supposed to start leave. I was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Great Falls, Montana, and because that's a nuke base, you know, we were on ThreatCon Delta.
Oh man.
And I was on leave, so I was, you know, leaving the base because I was going to go downtown and see a friend of mine who owned a trucking company, because I was going to go do a run and actually make some money, right? Because we didn't make shit for money back then. When I'm leaving the base, I'm driving across the base, and I'm like, Jesus, something's not right. The traffic patterns are off. I mean, I'm a base cop, right? I have nothing else to do but watch traffic. And I got to the gate, and I noticed we had, you know, up armored Hummers with 50 cals and barricades and shit all over the gate. And I'm like, what the hell? And I flipped a U-ey and came back to the gate, and gate guard came out, and he's like, oh, you know, you can't come on, base is closed. I'm like, what are you talking about? The base is closed. He's all, ThreatCon Delta. And I'm like, exercise, right? And he said, no, real world. And I'm like, nah, you're shitting me. And he's like, no. And he says, you didn't see the news? I'm like, no. And I said, I'm going to get recalled, so I may as well go back. And he said, well, base is closed. You can't get on base. I'm like, dude, seriously, you just saw me go out the gate. Made him call his flight chief on the phone, and his flight chief told him, yeah, let Cross on. He's getting recalled anyway.
Right.
And I went back to, I don't know what you guys called it in the Army, but for us, it was called KCCC, or command post, basically. And I went into the command post, and when they buzzed me in, I walked in and just in time to see the second plane hit the tower. And I didn't even look around to see who was in the room. And I just turned, you know, I kind of turned around, and I was talking as I turned around, and I'm like, you guys realize if they see you guys watching fucking TV in here, they're going to chew your ass. And as I finished turning around, I see, you know, the base commander's there, Wing King, you know, everybody's there. And I'm like, oh shit. And they just told me that's not TV, that's CNN. And I went home and grabbed my mobility gear, threw my BDUs on, went and armed up, and there we were. I mean, we're just ready to go. So it changed the world for me. You know, I look at things a lot different today than I did before. And you know, my dad being a Vietnam vet, you know, he was a gun bunny on a Huey. And, you know, I've told my kids this story. I remember driving downtown Denver with my dad, and he saw a Vietnamese restaurant and about lost his mind. And at the time, I'm like, what did they do to you? I mean, it's not like they threw anything at us, you know, and I couldn't understand it. And now I do. It's not them. It's what that represented. You know, that represented his war. You know, it wasn't anything personal. And so I try to explain that to my kids, and, you know, I mean, fuck, I feel old. I mean, my kids are learning about our life, right?
Right, exactly.
Our life's history.
Exactly.
You know, but if we don't teach it to them, especially now with as fucked up as this world is, you know, politically and socially, and, you know, and I don't care which side of the aisle you walk down. I don't care whose hand you hold when you walk down it. I signed a contract that said I'd take a round so that you can make that choice, but don't push that shit down my throat. You know, I don't have to see it or hear about it.
Right.
You know, and I try to teach my kids that same mentality. And but you send them out of here and you send them to a school, and that school wants to, you know, take him down this other lane, or, you know, and I mean, I almost had to go to my son's school this week and destroy a teacher's career, but fortunately someone got to him before I did. So.
Damn.
Right.
You know, I think, you know,
I told my boy, I'm like, dude, if your teacher says this bullshit on Monday, just stand up and walk out. And then someone got to him before I could.
You know, I think a lot of it is kids nowadays are getting smarter anyways on a lot of stuff, to where they're not only going to question us as parents, but they're going to question their teachers too. So at least we have for the younger generation, at least we have that. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like they're completely like how we were when we were growing up and we went to school. We went to school and the teacher, whatever wrote was gospel, and yep, okay, cool. And then that was it. And then you'd come home and, you know, you'd ask your parents about something, and then they're like, yeah, that sounds pretty much it. You know what I mean? It wasn't really, now it's subjected to everything. So I definitely see your point. Let's go back to the, oh,
you're good.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, do you want to call them up? You want to answer and say, hey man, we're on air. So your trucking company, let's go back to the earlier statement. I was going to ask you a question about if you were going to expand nationally, but you kind of answered that already. Can you give us a little bit of a hint of who you would be working with, or is that still kind of hush hush?
Sorry, I'm trying to catch COVID. So yeah. You know, we're open to working with anybody, right? We've kind of developed a partnership with Back the Heroes Rumble out there in your neck of the woods. Worked with them on their car show this last summer. Phenomenal group of people, phenomenal organization, great ideas, and their heart's in the right place. I mean, Carl's goofy, but I mean, he was in the Army, so we get it. We can live with that. And we'll be out there. They've got a gala this week rather.
Yeah.
Shit. Because I got to fly again. Oh. But so I'll be flying out there Thursday, and I'm bringing my youngest son with me because I like to involve them when I can in this stuff. I think it makes him a better person. I actually threatened to set him on fire if he didn't come with me. So that was pretty motivational. So
you said you're just like a Vietnam vet son, just like me. I say crazy stuff like that too. My kids is like, does Dad really have napalm?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, and I have two daughters too that will sometimes repeat that too. You know, I heard hearing your oldest calling somebody a name.
Daughter, because I forgot what caused that. And now I have a color TV, so we're good. We'll do that shit again. But I feel bad for any boy that comes to see that little girl. Because at this point, I'm old enough that prison's not a bad option. It would be arrest.
Yeah.
You know, I think I could establish dominance if I had to go to prison. If I couldn't establish dominance, you know, I'm old, dude. There's not that much pride going on.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to, especially when it comes to kids and our daughters, man, I don't fear prison. Yeah, I don't. You know, well, I'm retired for the Army, so what are they gonna do? Throw me out? You know what I mean? What's gonna? What are you gonna?
Right.
I already got that bucket list checked off. So it's almost like anything else, man. Anything goes when it comes to the girls, man. I had my oldest. There were some kids that were. I would just say that there was some playground conflict, and you know, my oldest, speaking like a Vietnam veteran's granddaughter, said, "Knock it off, bonehead," and it caused everybody to go, you know. So she's in good hands already. I mean, she's obviously almost close to her 30s, so it's a little bit, you know, she can take care of herself. But it's just funny to like you said, some of the stuff that you say to kids, and then you hear them repeat what you're saying. It's just classic. To me, that's how you know you dadded right. You know, you did the dad thing good. Right. So.
Right. Yeah, my kids definitely have my smart ass mouth. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got a young one that you know, he's a little guy. He's yeah, total. And now he's in the why phase right now. Everything's why. It's time to go brush your teeth. Why?
The answer is because I said.
Right. Why? Yeah. This morning I took him. I smoked his bags on a run, and he didn't want to go because it was in the teens this morning. So he did not want to run. So I was like, "Sorry, kid, you're running." So you know, are you the, how do I say this? Are you the main point of contact for your organization? Are you the main dude or?
Yeah. yeah, when people reach out to work with us for anything, everything pretty much comes through me. You know, I mean, if there's, so my other half, Hope, she's phenomenal with the Facebook stuff and all of that. You can usually tell if it's me that's posting because it's misspelt, or you know, if grammatically it's correct, it's probably her. But yeah, I mean, for decisions on who we're going to help and who we're going to work with, I mean, it's kind of a team effort, you know. You know, I've worked with some organizations that after the fact, I'm like, ooh, yeah, probably don't want to work with them again. You know, that was a bad deal. That was a little sketchy. And so I've learned to listen to the gut of other people. This is one of those situations. I mean, if you want to put me into a position where I have to decide whether I'm going to live or die and what actions I need to take to affect the outcome I want, I'm really good at that shit. But when it comes to matters of, hey, we want to do something to honor, you know, military people or 9/11 or, you know, dude, I run blindly into that shit like a ranger on a drop zone, right? I will just, I'll die.
Right.
So I just want to believe everybody is good. And so I've learned to listen to some of the other people in my organization when they say, hey, I get a bad feeling about these people, because they're probably right. You know, so we are careful who we work with, but we will look at everything. I mean, it's never about us. You know, if you talk to those guys over at Back to Heroes Rumble, hopefully they can tell you the same thing. You know, with their experience with us, it's not about us. You know, yeah, we want to be a part of it. We want to make things happen. But I guess that's the proverbial cliff that you know, or line that you don't want to cross. I mean, for what we do, yes, it's about exposure, and that exposure helps us grow and helps us accomplish more. But it's not about ego, and that's a very fine line. And so trying to, I will err on the side of caution a lot, and do a lot of things, and people will never know we even had anything to do with it. Simply because I don't want anybody to ever think it's about ego or it's about us or self-grandirism, I think is the term that I learned this summer with another organization that I worked with. And it's, you know, it can't be that way. You know, you can't sustain that. You know, your motives are wrong if that's your focus.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You really have to be careful out there, anyways, when you're dealing with anything that has to do with money or willing to help people out, because then you need to know where they stand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Back Here's Rumble, anyways, is those guys, man. I think we like to post a lot of stuff for them, anyways, and they've been on here before. So, but anyways, hey Cody, dude, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And anything you want to say before we cut out?
You know, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity. You know, if any of your listeners, you know, if there's anything we can ever do, if they've got events planned or you know, hear of anything where they think, you know, we could be of help to, you know, help a family or an agency. You know, I mean, I've got direct connections with the Pentagon. I mean, we brought a 9/11 memorial over here this last year, and I literally had to work through the Pentagon to get it brought over from Europe. So it's called a network for a reason, you know. So that's what we're here for. If anybody has any ideas or needs any help or you know, needs thoughts or, I mean, anything, reach out to us. We're happy to help.
And you can go ahead and just jump onto, if you look at the Facebook page right now, and you'll see that we have tagged the Fallen Hero Network, and we also dropped a link in there for their website at thefallenheronetwork.org. Check them out, drop some swag, you know, hit us a request. If you want to donate, they have a link on there too. You can check it out. And Cody, thanks so much for hanging out, dude. This has been fun. And
I appreciate it, guys.
And we're gonna take a break right quick, and me and Cody are gonna shoot the breeze for a second. So everyone, refill your glasses and go get some shots. Stand by.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, mama. Hello, daddy. I've got something that I've never said before. Went down south of the border. Now life, it's got a little harder for me. I fell in love with some girl. She told me that she was gonna rock my world. Now I'm stuck here with no money. Don't that just sound a little funny for you? Well, her name was Maria. She told me she was always by my side. Went home one evening. She was with another man. He tried to run and hide. I pulled out my 45. I told them that I was gonna take their life. Now I'm stuck here on the run. I don't know the animal I have become, so won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Well, I know life is short. Mom, you know I always try to do my best. Should've listened when you told me I wouldn't be caught in this mess. Gotta go now, Dad, I'm sorry. Everybody, all y'all need to know this is life, a true story. When you chase ass down in Mexico, save me, save me. Won't you save me, save me, save me, save me. Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out of my little misery? We used to be so strong, and now your words are covered in lies. Is there a reason for us to make this thing still stay alive? As you turn away and fade, mistakes that we have made separate the distance between you and me's what brought the hate.
if that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much gonna be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back for the second half or third half. Damn, third half? Man, I keep forgetting. How many halves do we have? the last
three tonight.
Three tonight. We're the last part. Last part of the show. Man, I was just telling Cody Cross from the Fallen Hero Network how fast that just like quick.
No, yeah. You just get in that. You get in that mood. Honestly, our first hour too, to me, just went by like that.
It did. It was like literally. It was pretty quick. Hey, real quick, something that we didn't really cover, but you know, we I feel like we do need to cover was that Bob Dole, a longtime GOP senator and a 1996 presidential nominee, died at the age of 98. Bro,
yes,
that 98, you have that's a full life, man. That right there is that's dude, dude had a record. He was dude, it's really hard to it's really hard to put into words his contribution to the country.
He's 27 years in the Senate.
Yeah, 27 years. Everyone's like, well, when someone like that is, and this was confirmed by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, he died Sunday. This dude was like a World War II vet.
Yeah, he was.
And I mean, he got messed up, and he still, losing the use of his right arm, he still got through law school, became a public prosecutor, and then of course a representative and U.S. senator. And so, yeah, dude, he's like a stud, dude. All that time.
He got a Bronze Star back when it was hard to get a Bronze Star. he didn't just sit in the talk and watch the fucking war go by.
Dude,
he went out and earned that shit.
Yeah, he went out. He got his medal. It's incredible, his story and his service. Also today, Edward Shames, the living member of the Band of Brothers, Easy Company, 506, passed away at 99. And he jumped into Normandy and fought in some of World War II's most critical moments, which was memorialized in HBO's show. Dude, he was born in Russell. Go back to Bob Dole. Born in Russell, Kansas, 1923, and became a World War II hero with the 10th Mountain Division. So he served some 18th Airborne Corps time. So he's dude. That's just both of them. Both of them are heroes. And so U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio salutes those two and their contributions to our country. I don't give a crap about your politics, whatever. This is where all you guys can say, vets and vets. These are vets. This is the greatest generation that you guys like to talk about, or we all like to talk about. So my hat's off.
He was wounded by an almost direct artillery shell.
Yes,
German artillery shell, and he came home, had a fever of 109, and they didn't think he was going to live. He was given after large doses of penicillin were not successful to overcome the infection. He got streptomycin, which was at times still experimental, and then finally pulled out of it. He didn't get out of the army until 47. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Everyone thought he was going to die, and he didn't. And he honestly outlived a lot of those guys. Good on you. Good on you, Bob Dole.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, good on you, Bob Dole. Again, hats off to you, and also hats off to God, I lost my place, dude. The Currahee soldier, Edward Shames, the last of the World War II Band of Brothers. That's, oof. That's dude. That's. I want to watch Band of
losing
Brothers.
those guys quick.
I know, man. I want to watch Band of Brothers now again. Every time I hear about one of the Band of Brothers, the originals passing, I always want to jump on and watch the watch an episode or watch a couple episodes to kind of.
God, that was one of those shows for a long time I never got to watch from the beginning to the end. I'd always get like a random episode in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me probably, it was probably until about 3-4 years ago that I got to see it all the way from the beginning to the end.
Oh, wow.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw it in one sitting. I binged it one time, and then, and like you, I'll watch a couple episodes here and there, or an episode will pop up on TV or something like that. Like there'll be a World War II or Memorial Day, replaying it, or on the History. It's on the History Channel or something like that. But hey, we hear you, Cody. We see you, Cody, and thank you for hanging out with us. It was a pleasure. It was awesome. Thank you again. Yeah. So, oh man, I guess we need to break out the limit pledge. It's time for some housekeeping. It's time for some housekeeping. You know, and everybody. Oh wait, see, I don't think CQ has a guest tomorrow, does he? Do you guys don't have a guest tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we do have a guest, unless it's changed and it hasn't been confirmed.
Oh. Go for it. Wrap some.
Oh my God. I usually don't do this. It's usually CQ's job.
Oh, what?
He wraps
the cup sheets, or do you wrap the cup sheets?
I don't do the cut sheets. I just do like the show lineup.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, well then he's got what? John Carroll. You guys got John Carroll Lynch tomorrow? Is that what it is?
John Carroll Lynch. Yes. And he is in like everything.
Yeah, he's in The Walking Dead, The Founder, Zodiac, The Highwayman, American Horror Story. Man, I want to see that. I love that show. And then he's got. You guys got another one too. Like in a couple of weeks. You got a lot of guests, man.
I think we have a guest until like Christmas.
You do. You have
Santa Claus. We have Santa Claus. No, I'm just kidding.
We have
actual Santa Claus. He'll be on like the 27th.
I want Krampus to come on. That's when I want. That's the guest that I want. We have Michael Jamin. You guys have Michael Jamin coming on too. Writer, director, producer, writer. Michael Jamin will be on to talk with you and CQ. He's involved in Tacoma FD, King of the Hill, Brickleberry, and Beavis and Butthead, dude. That's awesome. Matt Haley, he's going to be on. He's the director and writer. He's going to come on and talk about his various projects. I guess there's going to be some announcements and stuff too, so I don't want to blab some stuff. But all right, go ahead and do the lineup. There we go. Gotcha.
All right, well, gotcha, bitch. Gotcha. So, all right. So, you've been listening to the Monday edition with Ice and me, Radar. I was on tonight instead of Mom. She's out saving the world. Tomorrow night, you get a double dose of Radar. You get me and CQ for Pop Culture Warrior. We'll be there talking about, I'm sure we'll talk about Hawkeye. We've been watching. I watched that. That's one thing I did this weekend. I did my homework. I watched Hawkeye. We'll be talking about that. And then, like I said, we have our guest, John Carroll Lynch. He's been in a million things. If you don't recognize the name, you'll recognize the face. I promise. You have seen something he's been in. Then Wednesday, we have a Donza Day, a day of no scheduled activities. Nothing. Day off. And I say that because Spanky loves that term.
Just I'm waiting to see if
But Thursday, Spanky will be back with a vengeance, probably mad at me for saying Donza, but she'll be here with Ice, this guy, on my left, your left as well, because that's how it works. You guys will be talking all things Sergeants on Sergeant's time on Thursdays.
Sergeanting of Sergeant.
That's right. You got your active Army, your reserve, retirees, National Guard, all the things. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, like Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye. That's White Rain. He's got his own show. You should, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's actually a really good show. The first 3 episodes are out on Disney Plus. You'll love it. Now, Friday Night Freedom, FNF. It's a tearing some shit up on Friday nights. You guys have got to check them out. It's an awesome show.
The camera froze for a little bit, and your mouth was like this.
That'll happen. That will happen.
problem. Go ahead, man, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
But anyway, so you got Kaz and Pookie on Fridays. They have an amazing show. They really are fun. You've got to check them out. Everyone's got to check them out. It's a good time. Saturday and Sunday, The Weekend. Not a crappy halftime show, but an actual weekend. 2 days of no scheduled activities where we will spend time with our families. You should take the time to spend the time with your family as well. They're actually really cool people. You should get to know them better. Now, Monday, we're going to swing back around. We're going to shift some gears and back to the Monday edition with Ice, maybe Mom, maybe whoever. It's going to be a good time. And we will be here on Monday. Every night of the week, we're going to have shows or a day off. But we have so much good content. Hey, check us out on the podcast. If you don't get to watch this live, or if you watch part of the show.
You're about there again.
Someone's going to freeze that now and make it a meme.
Sure. Exactly. I'm going to have to go through and rewind it through the show right here. Make sure you download. You can download any of these podcasts here. Right now, currently, we're broadcasting on 2 Facebook pages, a YouTube page, Twitch, the Twitterage, and all that. I'm just waiting to see how many people are going to complain about what we post or what we said, because, you know, Twitter is the big... And then you can always download us on Google Play or Apple Podcasts, along with other 14 different platforms that we have. So, there we go. It looks like Max Headroom.
So don't forget to check out our guest tonight, too. Follow on HeroNetwork.org. If you are listening to podcasts or you don't get to hear it, you know, see the tag on the post or whatever. But go check them out. They've got some good shit over there. They're doing some really good work. And make sure that you check them out. They're good people. Thanks, Cody, for coming on. It was a great time.
All right, everyone. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you later. We'll see you for Pop Culture Warrior. So, shouts.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun. sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear all manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force.